Hi, welcome to Two Batches.
Two Batches Cooking is about home style with ease.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Rosemary.
Welcome in.
Let's go inside and get started. Amen, sister.
Amen.
Woo! We are here today to give you a new recipe for fall. It's football season.
Yep.
And we are putting together a twist on wings and dip.
And I'm going to make mini meatloaves and some blackberry margaritas.
Okay, everybody, so this is about 2.5 pounds of chicken wings. And so this is a nice twist on kind of the goopy chicken wings. It's more of a dry rub. And I'll just tell you a couple things about wings and chicken wings. So you can, if you have a wonderful butcher who will cut them for you, great. You can also buy them frozen. You can also buy them fresh in your grocery store. And I bought them fresh, but sometimes you have to cut them. So I've trimmed down this 2.5 pounds, but this is kind of how they come. And so I usually work with two different tools, and you just cut them in half as best you can. Now this is a set of poultry shears, and then sometimes those are a little bit, they don't do great with the skin, so I just take a regular pair of scissors, and then I also trim off a little bit of the skin. And so that just gives you a sense of how you can cut these. So I'll do that one more time and then we'll be ready to go. So this is a recipe from my Aunt Mary, and she passed away a couple years ago and left us with this great recipe, and it's a recipe that my family uses all the time. As I said, one thing I like about it is that it is not your typical kind of buffalo wing that's got a lot of sauce on it. It's more of a dry rub, and it gives you just a different sense. So we'll be using paprika and cumin. Spread everything out on a baking sheet. So this is a nice dry rub mix of smoked paprika, ground cumin, and garlic salt. And to this we're going to add, I'll just use my mortar and pestle to smash it up. We'll add 2 tablespoons of dry margarine, dried up. So we'll add that in here. It's a little bit heaping. And to that I'll just add 2 tablespoons of salt. We'll just give it a quick stir and pound. There we go. These things are great if you don't have them. You can, one of these you can use it to make guacamole. You can use it for all sorts of spices. You use it to smash garlic cloves. So I'm adding that to the spice mixture that I've already prepared. And we are going to mix this up with our hands. And basically dry rub it and sprinkle it on the chicken pieces. So ideally you're going to cover the pieces. I'll also tell you that the dip we're making with this is great. It will be different than the blue cheese dip. It's more of a dip that goes with vegetables as well. So you can handle both your meat eaters and the meat eaters and the vegetarians in your life. Dry rub, so just take some time and try to just dry rub both sides of the chicken. So this is really called smoky paprika rub, but I smell a lot of the cumin, so which is great. So if you like cumin, it's got a really nice flavor to it. Quickly go through here. So you can see how easy this is, and you know one of the things that we like to do at Two Batches is give you recipes that are just super easy and taste great. I mean, we all love to cook when we have the time on weekends, but sometimes we don't have time, certainly during the week. This is super easy, especially if you can find these already cut and prepared for you. So last thing we'll do is we'll add a little bit of olive oil, 2 tablespoons per cookie sheet. Just gonna drop it in the middle here, and then I'll make sure that I swirl all of the chicken wings in this, and this will just help them be a little bit more coated. old and spicy looking pans, they are the best for these things. You don't need brand new, clean, perfect pans. Okay. Excellence doesn't mean perfect, right? Okay, they go into the oven for 435 degree oven for 20 minutes on one side, and then pull them out and turn them on to the other side for another 25 minutes, so 45 minutes altogether. Okay, great. So 20 minutes has gone by. Whew. It always happens. That's when you wear glasses. Smoke gets in your eyes, just like the song says. So you're going to turn these over so you get brown on the other side. So just pull them out quickly, and I'm just going to rotate them on the other side. Oh, this one's sticking a little bit. So this is a little bit of an older pan, but it's actually interesting because, see, the browning on this one is actually different than the browning on the pan that is not as old. So we'll see how the two batches, no pun intended, come out. Okay, so these go back into the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on like doneness and crispiness, and they should be crispy when they're done. So stick these right back in, and we'll give it a final whirl. So we just put the wings in the oven, and while those are browning up, this is a super easy dip. So this dip is great. There's no sugar in it. People who are vegetarians can have this dip at your house, and this is a dip that doesn't traditionally match with wings, but this is again a recipe from my Aunt Mary who passed away, and let's hope she's in the big commercial kitchen in the sky whooping it up. But this is so easy. There's 4 ingredients, and it just makes the best kind of refreshing dip. So let's get to it. So, of course, starting with sour cream, because everything is great when you add sour cream to it. So 2 cups of sour cream, or about 16 ounces, I think, yeah, 16 ounces. 1 more. Keeping to our 2 batches creed of giving you things that are fast and easy, but still delicious. So 2 cups of sour cream, 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, which is also makes everything great. So make it a little bit of heaping. Looks great. Looks like some sort of mountain of something. Looks really good. So this is a shallot, medium-sized to large-sized shallot, just one of them. You can chop it up by hand, but what are mini food processors for, right? Just dump in the shallot. So you won't see any of my bad knife skills for cutting up the shallot, since I just did it easily with the mini food processors. But here we go. So dill is the magic ingredient, and so here's a view of my bad knife skills. So this is about 4 tablespoons of dill, and you're just chopping that up. You can smell it. It smells great. It has that Scandinavian smell. Always reminds me of Denmark or Sweden. And just plop it in there. Can you believe it? That is it. And you're just going to mix it. Looks really good. It's kind of like a snowball or pine tree snowball. I don't know what you would say it looks like, but once it's mixed, it is really good. And it kind of takes the place of the blue cheese and that buffalo wing style blue cheese wing and dip spread. So that is it. It is just so easy. Just put it in a slightly smaller bowl for serving it. Then you just serve this with vegetables as one option, and those wings. Smell great, like a nice cloud of cheese and cream. Wow, Ramekin's. Perfect.
Okay, and now I am going to make some little meatloaves, L-I-L meatloaves. It is a recipe that my mom had, and I've taken a pound of ground beef. I finely minced a half a cup of onion, and I'm going to add 1 egg, a half a cup of oatmeal, and a 3/4 cup of milk, in these little meatloaves, we also have 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. Everything goes in it, and it's just a nice little meatloaf when you're done. So there's the cheddar cheese. So, and I think kids would also tend to like these just because they're small. They're individual size, they look more fun, and it's always the eye appeal to food is just as important as the taste sometimes. So you mix this up, incorporating all the goodness. Okay, so we have everything here. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. Finish stirring it up. And now, in a greased pan, you're going to individual meatloaves. It is a wetter mixture. It will stick together. The egg binds it, the oatmeal will make it bind together, and the cheese. So, have 2. And these are also great for leftovers. Easy to pop into a container to take to work or school for lunch. But you'd have to make a double batch usually. There's not many leftovers typically. Okay, and now this is the ketchup, mustard, and brown sugar mix. So just pour a spoonful on top of each one. This was a 1/2 cup of ketchup, a tablespoon and a 1/2 of just yellow mustard, and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. All right, so now we're gonna put the little meatloaves in the oven. We have it set at 350 and it will cook for 45 minutes. All right, the meatloaves have been in the oven for 45 minutes and they are nice and hot. You let them set for 5 or 10 minutes before you take them out or they will tend to fall apart. All right, so we saved the best for the last, blackberry margaritas. I'm going to tell you a little story about how these came about. There were wild blackberries growing behind my parents' house. And so my dad would go and pick bucketfuls. So a few years ago, I decided, well, what can, you can only eat so many blackberries. We made blackberry jam, we made blackberry pie. So I made blackberry tequila. I took blackberries, muddled them in a container, covered it with tequila, shook it every few days, and had the best tasting tequila. A light fruity flavor, and it was just fun because we made it from scratch. So I have a lime. I'm gonna cut for slices. And I have in a pitcher here some limeade. It's the frozen concentrate limeade. It's a small container, and I have a 1/2 cup of the blackberry tequila with some berries in it. I can also put some fresh berries in it to add to the flavor. Kind of break them up, give it a pretty color. Add to the festive drink, and you want to stir it up. I prefer margaritas on the rocks, so I've never tried making these frozen. I don't see why you couldn't, but serving them on the rocks, I'm going to take a lime, wet the edge of the glass, and we have some coarse salt. We have ice cubes. Of course, add another blackberry or 2. And I have some friends here with me today, so I'm gonna make 3. It's always better when you don't drink alone. Okay, Okay, so I'll give this another swirl. One, two, three. And I will add the lime garnish as well. It just adds a nice citrus complement. So, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. X. Okay, it's almost time for kickoff, and we have some wonderful appetizers, snacks, whatever. We have mini meatloaves that are just small individual sized meatloaves. We have some pickles, and then we
Re-upped our margaritas.
Refreshed our margaritas.
And as you can see, the wings look great. You can serve them hot or you can serve them cold. There's a wonderful dip, and we are ready to dig in. So let's try everything. And we want to see how this tastes before we expose anybody else to it. So
It looks wonderful.
take a quick bite of the chicken and see how it turned out. So this rub is great, and it just is a big change from, I mean, I love buffalo wings too, but this is just a big change. Serve ourselves one of these.
The meatloaves are, you can serve it with bread
Fork.
or without. And just
Try this one. Make sure we don't poison anybody.
they're good. Just light.
Excellent. They are really light. And the oatmeal in there. Just get, I mean, it's interesting. Yeah.
But it's just a simple recipe, things that you have around the house, you can throw it together easily, and you have a great meal.